Okay, so a little preface before I read from Emmett Fox and read his choice. Emmett Fox this week was doing a series, including today, on the 91st Psalm. I think it started on Wednesday or maybe Thursday. And Phyllis and I often will read Fox in the morning before we go about our various business. And reading it out loud, I remembered this. This was one of Sister Pepper's key go-to psalms for someone who was in trouble. For those of you who are fairly new, Sister Pepper founded our original home church and has been on the other side now for perhaps 15 years. Um, so I'm going to spend today sort of looking into the pieces of this wonderful psalm. And reading it that day, it was like, oh gosh, I'd forgotten how powerful this was. So this is the Lamsa translation. He who dwells in the protection of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. I will say of the Lord, He is my refuge and my fortress, my God, in Him will I trust. Surely He shall deliver you from the snare of the fowler and from vain gossip. He will cover you with His feathers, and under His wings you shall trust. His truth shall be your shield and buckler. You shall not be afraid by the terror by night, nor for the arrow that flies by day, nor for the conspiracy that spreads in darkness, nor for the pestilence that wastes at noonday. Thousands shall fall at your side, and 10,000 at your right hand, but it shall not come near you. Only with your eyes shall you behold the reward of the wicked. For thou, O Lord, art my trust. Thou hast established thy habitation in the highest. There shall no evil befall you, neither shall any plague come near your dwelling. For he shall give his angels charge over you to keep you in all your ways. They shall bear you up in your hands, lest you dash your foot against a stone. You shall tread upon the viper and adder. You shall trample underfoot the lion and the great serpent. Because he has loved me, therefore will I deliver him. I will set him on high because he has known my name. He shall call upon me, and I will answer him. I will be with him in trouble. I will deliver him and honor him. With long life will I satisfy him and show him my salvation. So first, a couple of notes. Um, the traditional um, translation is noisome pestilence or deadly pestilence, but Lamsa says vain gossip, and Lamsa, of course, is referring to the colloquialisms of the original Aramaic. Uh, and uh, he doesn't talk about the plague, he talks about conspiracy spreading in darkness. Once again, a more on earth, down to earth. And then I want to comment that shield and buckler, I had to look it up. Shield was generally a large shield. If you remember the Roman contingents, they had shields as tall as they were almost, so that in the face of a charge from an enemy, they'd all get together and put their shields up, and it was like an impenetrable wall. The buckler is a small arm shield for when you're in one-on-one combat. So in other words, it doesn't matter what the threat is, God's truth is your protection. Okay, so now Lamsa's commentary about he who dwells in the protection of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. Uh, Fox explains to abide under the shadow of the Almighty means to live under the protection of God Himself. And Eastern people, particularly those with a desert background, such as the people of the Mideast, of Palestine, look upon the sun as a danger, even an enemy, from which they need to be safeguarded. Shade is sanctuary or safety. Thus, the shadow of an almighty rock in a weary land signifies an exhausted traveler who sinks down in this little piece of shade, all there is in the desert right there, for a long sought rest. And then he who dwells in the secret place. Fox reminds us that there's a difference between only occasionally praying when we're in dire distress. Oh God, please help me, versus maintaining the continual prayer and interconnection with the divine, like the unceasing prayer that we talk about often, or the maintaining of the divine cord of energy between ourselves, um, and encourages us to think and work in terms of the eternal contact. And he recommends daily meditation and prayer as part of this maintenance of contact with the divine. Now, Siobhan and Deborah, just to explain a bit, I've been out sick for about 2 months here, and a number of our other people have been going through significant challenges. So the last couple or 3 weeks, we've been dealing with and talking about the challenges of staying in contact with God, continuing to claim divine healing when we're beset with pain, discomfort, and misery. So that's the background to why we're talking about this now. So I will say of the Lord, He is my refuge and my fortress, my God. So Fox differentiates here between the secular knowledge. Oh, I know there must be a God, da 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 da. But the actual knowing God is this continuity of contact with divine spirit, with the divine cord, with divine love, being vulnerable to it, claiming it, taking the time, however, to let ourselves be ever closer, ever connected with it. And Deborah, you are not on mute. It looks like you might want to mute yourself. As a general rule, he says, people contact this real self, the real God, the presence, only occasionally, and it takes intent to keep ourselves open, to maintain openness, maintain the connection with the divine, even in the good times, because this world is a distraction, and it's so easy not to do it, to forget about it, and that leaves us vulnerable. And he also makes the point that even in the midst of difficulties, even when things are going, frankly, to hell, or things are going filled with pain, if you're still praying and doing your best, he says, he reminds us that the faith to go on praying, forgive me, God, for my little faith sort of thing. He reminds us that God promises results if we have the level of faith relative to the grain of a mustard seed. And that is even that is sufficient. And a mustard seed is teeny, 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 tiny seed. So speaking for myself in the midst of the huge pain I was in, to say, God, oh, I know you can heal. I'm claiming your healing. That was good enough. That was good enough. And as by grace of God and by grace of my body's healing and by grace of the surgeon's work, as the pain has receded, I'm not quite so breathless in attempting to connect with God. Those of you who've been in bad pain, and ladies, some of this pain was cramps so severe I was doubled over, and I thought, this is what a woman with menstrual problems has. Oh my God, I have sympathy for you. But even with that breathlessness, it was, oh God, oh God. That was good enough, according to Fox. and I'll own it and I'll claim it. Remember, we're all God stuff, no matter how we might fall short at any particular time. That's life on this particular little piece of divine substance. And then, surely he shall deliver you from the snare of from the snare of the. Try again. Surely he shall deliver you from the snare of the fowler and from vain gossip. He will cover you with his feathers, and under his wings you shall trust. His truth shall be your shield and buckler. So here's from the psalmist. And by the way, no one seems to be sure who wrote it. Some claim Moses, but nobody really knows. The psalmist is addressing you with authoritative assurance that your prayer will be answered in some way or other. Remember, God doesn't guarantee how it's going to be answered. Because Harold Hill, the late preacher, used to talk about this. He says, God always promises the answer, that he'll answer your prayer. He doesn't guarantee how he's going to answer it or whether you're going to see it. But he always answered it. So, and Trump says, in some way or other, not necessarily the way that you expect, you will be rescued from your difficulty. And he goes on to explain the image of under his feathers. Those of you who perhaps have some farm background, a mother hen who has chicks around, when she sees a hawk coming by or something else that she perceives as threatening, she spreads her wings and the chicks all gather underneath. It makes her look larger, but the hawk can't separate one chick and grab it. So what you are being promised is, if you will, a cloak of invisibility under the feathers of this great divine being. And similarly, his truth is your protection, your shield, your buckler. And then he goes on with the quote, you shall not be afraid by the terror by night, nor for the arrow that flies by day, nor for the conspiracy that spreads in darkness. And here he talks about plagues instead in traditional translations, nor for the pestilence that wastes at noonday. So Fox explains that the arrow that flies by day, the destruction that wastes at noonday, which would be these are difficulties of which you are consciously aware. A daytime problem is what he calls it. But terrors by night, the conspiracy by night in darkness, these are things that may have you in danger or at risk, but that you're not aware of except perhaps in your subconscious mind. And you're also protected against those. So it's like the tires they sell with 100% road hazard guarantee. Whether it's a hazard you can find and blame or not, you're covered. And then going on, thousands shall fall at your side and 10,000 at your right hand, but it shall not come near you. Only with your eyes shall you behold the reward of the wicked. Which simply means those who maintain their presence with the divine, who continue to pray even in the midst of the difficulty of praying from the faith of a grain of mustard seed, are saved from the trouble that they would otherwise be vulnerable to, that could otherwise overtake them. Once again, the connection with the divine, the promise is safety. For though thou, O Lord, art my trust, thou hast established thy habitation in the highest, there shall no evil befall you, neither shall any plague come near your dwelling. So look at these promises. So Fox explains that the word promise is the name given to a statement of a spiritual law. So they are giving us a spiritual law here, which to translate simply, he goes on in some length, I won't. By meditating and praying regularly in the presence of God, seeking to direct your life in the path of God, within your spiritual walk, within your understandings of divine love, and that you yourself are divine. You develop immunity from any kind of danger. Doesn't mean you might not get hit with the stiff winds, but it does mean that you're not going to catch a fever, catch the cold, catch a death of flu, in quotes. And then, for he shall give his angels charge over you to keep you in all your ways. They shall bear you up in their hands, lest you dash your foot against a stone. In other words, another piece of the promise, that it's not just that angels protect other angels or the high and exalted people in this world. We, who are pieces of this God stuff, are promised this. As small as we might perceive ourselves in this context, we have angels, an escort of angels that surround us, that support us, that seek to help us and keep us in all our ways. This is a promise to every one of us. And then you shall tread upon the viper and adder, you shall trample underfoot the lion and the great serpent. The lion stands for any difficulty that we are really afraid of, that we think we see, or we perceive we see rushing at us down the path toward us. And similarly, we're safe from those that creep up on us in the dark. Protection. And then he says the last three verses are a glorious psalm of bringing joy and triumph. Because he has loved me, therefore will I deliver him. A fixed decision here. Because you will seek connection, ongoing connection with the divine, God promises to deliver you. I will set him on high because he has known my name. And in Aramaic, knowing the name of anything means that you perceive the character or the nature of this thing. And we know the nature of God is perfect love, that the divine is omnipresent, all-powerful good, boundless love. And we know this name to be something that is over and above and more powerful than whatever difficulties we're facing. And then finally, a sort of a summation. He shall call upon me and I will answer him. I will be with him in trouble. I will deliver him and honor him. With long life will I satisfy him and show him my salvation. So carry these promises with you. Now, in my research for this, I stumbled across, from 1911, a presentation by someone named Jenny Croft at a Unity meeting, where she addressed it in a more metaphysical approach. Not saying that Fox wasn't metaphysical, but here's sort of another set of refractions to consider and keep in mind. In her presentation, she said, the secret place of the Most High is the place of Most High thought, with all its wonderful sweetness and peace. Dwelling in this secret place, we do not come out to meet trouble or distress. We abide, continue under the shadow of the Almighty. We abide in the great Almighty good, and we are protected by it. Because of the power of this great divine, this great fortress of safety, this divine is not an outside force. It is all that we know God to be in our consciousness, and the knowledge that the inner God is also this divine that is the refuge of all mankind, or let us say humankind, to update it. In this refuge, no one can trespass upon us. For here we live in and realize that I and the Father are one. And the little doubts and fears, the forgettings, our snares, and we're delivered by them by continually coming back to this abiding place of safety and of love. Pestilence is anything within the soul that is not clean or true or pure. And our doubts, of course, are not clean or true or pure. Our fears are not. The moment we are aware of the pestilence, we flee to our fortress where we are above and beyond it, and where nothing evil can touch us. The great creative power, the divine power, shields us always when we come to it. And the minute we turn away from the snare, this everlasting love is right here, ready for us to serve as our shield and buckler. And they are that which was, is, and ever shall be, the divine, God, yesterday, today, and forever, the same. And then she notes that we have within us a multitude of thoughts, and some of these thoughts we do not wish to keep. We want our hearts filled with abiding thoughts. We want to clear out error. And the psalmist tells us that 10,000 will fall at our right side and our left. And I take that to be the errors that we're thinking. But when we stand fast, true, and staunch, with our eyes fixed upon the divine within, no harm can come to us. And the perception of the soul sees the error, clears it out, and we then live in, know, and prove that nothing can ultimately hurt us, because we have the knowledge that prevents it, because we're living in the divine God stuff that is us, and keeping ourselves distant from the apparent dangers of living in this earth plane. Now, she goes on to say, angels are ministering thoughts, and he who gives the angels charge of us is the universal intelligence. They protect us. They go into our minds, make our thoughts right. I would disagree there. They help us make our thoughts right, because we still can choose the alternative. They can strengthen us when we're suffering, and I can speak to that from the last 2 months. They go into our body consciousness and help it set right. They keep us in all our ways. And malice, criticism, jealousy, gossip are the roaring lions and stinging adders that we are now impervious to. And because we set our love upon this universal divine, hang on, I gotta let someone in. The divine brings us up on high. And the high place is a place of knowledge as well as a place of love. And even before we have to call, the divine answers. And God delivers and honors those who set their love upon the good. And when we come into the kingdom, honor, riches, long life, houses, lands, well, I'll say figurative and metaphoric and spiritual, are added to our possessions, because they are parts of this divine kingdom, all this God stuff. And because they are all parts of us, and because we are of God, and God is, and because God is, we are. So that takes us in a completely different direction, doesn't it? Now, what I want to do is read one more time to close our session, our talk, the 91st Psalm. It's in its entirety, so that you can hear it with all these thoughts and admonitions along the way. He who dwells in the protection of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. I will say of the Lord, He is my refuge and my fortress. My God, in him will I trust. Surely he shall deliver you from the snare of the fowler and from vain gossip. He will deliver you with his feathers, and under his wings you shall trust. His truth shall be your shield and buckler. You shall not be afraid for the terror by night, nor for the arrow that flies by day, nor for the conspiracy that spreads in darkness, nor for the pestilence that wastes at noonday. Thousands shall fall at your side and 10,000 at your right hand, but it shall not come near you. Only with your eyes shall you behold the reward of the wicked. And I forgot to mention, remember, wicked are people who are of lower frequency, or events that are lower frequency on the Hawkins scale. For thou, O Lord, art my trust. Thou hast established thy habitation in the highest. There shall no evil befall you, neither shall any plague come near your dwelling. For he shall give his angels charge over you to keep you in all your ways. They shall bear you up in their hands, lest you dash your foot against a stone. You shall tread upon the viper and adder, you shall trample underfoot the lion and the great serpent. Because he has loved me, therefore I will deliver him. I will set him on high, because he has known my name. He shall call upon me, and I will answer him. I will be with him in trouble. I will deliver him and honor him. With long life will I satisfy him and show him my salvation. And folks, that's what I have to say. Anyone with some thoughts to share? Lori Kay.
Thank you for that, Brian. Plus, it's so awesome to have you back. I'm very pleased. What I want to say is we're so accustomed to thinking of the divine as something outside of us or something that we have to become worthy of and merit. And so that's kind of a knee-jerk way of looking at the divine. And bringing the divine experience into our own response to ourselves is incredibly rare. We can do it. It's just we rarely do it. We rarely take the qualities of God and use them for ourselves. Realizing we are also the they who help us. We are also the they. You know, we're not separated from it. And you said a phrase, fixed on the divine within. Well, if it's within, still try not to see it as separate. And so how do you do that? And so what I've been working with is applying kindness, strengthening, relief to situations, and it's not as arcane as I thought it would be. It's not as mysterious in its approach, but it's mysterious in how powerful it is. And I'm reminded of Shiva Bala Yogi, who was an enlightened master that I met at one point, and somebody who followed him said she wanted to do what he had done, which was sit in a hut for 24 years, or for 26 years, and 24 hours a day, sit there in meditation. And she decided she was going to do this, but sadly, after a few years, people broke in and unalived her. She was not protected in that way we think of protection. So I like to think of this kind of protection as when I am in a higher approach to what's happening. Not meaning I necessarily feel fabulous, but I'm going to bring in, just like you said, oh God, oh God, oh God. Or I'm going to say there's something else that's here. Then I am tapping the divine. So I just wanted to throw all of that in the pot, see what happens when we stir.
Thank you. Anybody else with something to say? Yes, Ellie.
Um, Great summation of that psalm. That is one of my favorite psalms. And I love how you broke it down from the two translations and also from the traditional to the metaphysical. And one thing, that that you had said about, where's my notes, about the name. Names meant something then that we don't necessarily think of now. So when you saw somebody that had the name, let's see, Bar David or Bat David, it was the son of or the daughter of, and you already knew the name previously from the family. So you already knew the character of the family and that person was going to carry that name farther. Which again, today you don't think that through the names that are given. And Lori Kay, when you were mentioning, and then you were also saying how Brian was talking about the spiritual with the physical. Again, going back to the Hebrew or the Aramaic, it deals with the five senses: sight, sound, taste. The five senses. So in the Hebrew thinking, if it's not one of those senses, it didn't happen. It's I don't know. Because everything that deals with the five senses is tangible. You taste, you touch, you hear, you smell, you see. So everything that's not within those five senses is not there. And of course, we know in the metaphysical and the spiritual, there's more than five. You've got your spiritual sight, you've got your spiritual taste, you've got your spiritual smell, etc. But in the basic of the Hebrew, it deals with the five senses. So that makes it easier to deal with because it shows the spiritual in the physical already. And so you're already applying the spiritual in the physical. So when you're looking at the divine in us, well, it's outside of us. Well, how do you apply that? Well, you look at the characteristics of the goddess, the kindness, the compassion, those things. You don't only apply it to yourself, but you apply it to outside of yourself. And in the words of Yeshua, love the Lord your God in all your might, in all your strength, in all from your all in all. So you're doing all these things and love your neighbor as yourself. So you're doing these inward things to the outside. So you're bringing those inward things into the physical. So there's not really a separation at all. It's like when you're cooking, you're not two people trying to do the one thing. You yourself are cooking, and when you have to stop, you're not leaving part of yourself there, i.e. the spiritual self, there to cook. You have to stop and then come back to it. Just like it is in the spiritual, you're applying those things that you're learning on a daily basis. And so there's not that separation of, oh, the spiritual is up here somewhere and the physical is down here. So much in the pagan teachings, as above, so below. In other words, you're taking what's here and bringing it here and then bringing it out. So it's a constant circle, or the figure eight, the infinity. It's all connected. So, I really appreciated you, Brian, bringing that in. The promise, the spiritual law, the meditating, the prayer. I mean, we're all doing this. And as we're doing those things, we're walking. Again, another physical thing that we're doing. we're walking the path that we're being shown. We're applying what we're being shown. And it's an amazing journey. And also, I'm glad to see you're back too, as well.
Thank you. Talking about name reminded me of a story because it wasn't just back in those days that a familial name uh, would give a person a sense of understanding of this person they didn't know personally standing in front of them. Bot David being the example. A friend of ours who was a teacher in a small town many years ago told the story. She was of an evening going over grading some paperwork from her students, and her father, who had taught in that school before he retired in that community, visited, went over and looked at the paper and said, let's see. I'll bet he's a C student. Let me see some of the others. Now, that one's going to be a D. That one's an A. You don't really know, but I know their parents. So there was a time when whatever your familial tradition was, unless you left the community, which was almost unheard of. George Fox, the founder of Quakerism, for instance, he lived in a time when almost no one traveled more than 5 miles from where they'd been born in their entire life. And so whatever your family reputation was, you were stuck with that, no matter how good or bad, either to live up to or to live down. But you were not a blank slate. You came with baggage. Okay, Christy, you have your hand up.
Thank you. That reminds me of Game of Thrones, the house that you came from. And it was important to know because I think the land goes with that, or the genetics of the family, as you were saying, which is a political thing more or less, but even on a common
Christy,
level.
speak up a little.
Ah, where's my microphone? Wow. Okay.
We can hear you, but we have to work at it. So continue on.
Hang on. I'm going to get, I think that the other screen is pulling on the mic. Is that better?
No change.
Wow. Okay. All right. Can you hear me now? Better.
Yes.
I'm looking at something that I was having fun with, the Game of Thrones, where we are recognizing that the name that goes with the family, and this is why women could never be promiscuous, but the men could, because that seed had to be from the man of the land. And that is just, it's bringing back that thought. What exactly does that mean? I don't think there's any religion in that. There's no God in that. But the thing that I think I want to really say to talking about what God is or what God may mean or the name of the word God, my mother would evoke God help me. And I recognized a lonely woman behind closed or four walls and a closed door that had no family but the moment they walked in. And that is the part where we are our loneliness, our loneliest as far as seniors or people who are ill, and recognizing if there isn't a hand there to hold, what do you call on or what can you call on? The part of her saying, God help me, reminded me of a woman who had studied her doctorate, who needed her thesis turned in, who had finally finished her thesis. She was in a very special support group I was in. And when she said, it came the moment when she knew at the end of all of it, she drug her feet and she finally tore up her thesis and walked away. And she was the one that I first learned those three words. She said, to be a psychologist, to be whatever, that you're helping people or guiding them, there are only three words that are necessary. And I'm going, where's this? What she said to me was more profound than anything I had ever heard. And then I hear my mother say it. And those three words were, God help me. That's all people need. That's what she said. She tore up her thesis, walked away, did not walk into psychology or any kind of healing other than to be the better her and realize she had probably arrived at a place. The three words, God help me. So that's what I impart. And I appreciate y'all. Thank you.
Thank you, Christy. Okay. Uh, I don't see anyone else, and we are moving on in time. Let's move to our silence then, please. So go ahead, take what we've talked about today, let it soak in you. We'll have 5-6 minutes of silence, and I'll call you back with a ding on our singing bowl. So come on back. And now it's time for prayer requests. So whatever prayers, whatever concerns you're carrying for yourself, for others, for this earth plane, for animals, this is the time to lift them up to the divine, having knowledge that the divine does hear what we have to say, does respond. We simply don't know how. We thank you, O Divine One, for all the healing that you bring about, for all the healing you have already done in each of our lives, for the protection, for the immunity that you have granted us for troubles that might be coming our way. We thank you for your gifts of love, for your helping us to maintain our spiritual walk and grow in it, for all the healings you've occasionally allowed us to see happen, the miracles that we've witnessed. We give you full thanks and humble gratitude. We say thank you, Divine One. Thank you, and amen. Okay, now it's time for forgiveness, folks. So what is it that you need to forgive in yourself, you need forgiveness for, or you need to forgive? And as I was preparing today, I was reminded of a statement. I don't know where I saw it. I cannot quite recall it, but it was something like this with regard to forgiveness. It is okay to decide, I forgive you for what you did, because my life can continue more easily when I do. But I continue to know that your choice of action is unacceptable to me. Okay, so have you got it all here? Ready to let it all go? And in the name of all the divine powers, it is dissolved. Okay, prosperity acknowledgement. Oh, hold on, I skipped one. Gratitudes, folks. So what is it? Share with us a gratitude, if you will. We'll start with Ellie, and then we'll go to Christy. We're running a bit late, so if you can keep it fairly short and succinct, please.
Gratitude is the air quality has been really, really nice the past 4 to 5 days. It's been moderate versus, which is between the 50 to 70 ranges versus 100 to the 250 range. Yes. And we've been having cool winds, and this morning we had some rain and thunderstorms. So, yes. So I'm very grateful for, again, the elements, um, showing how strong they can be.
Thank you. Christy, and then we'll come to Leah.
Technology. Always grateful for what we can do with technology, and I'm also aware I am grateful to be in California, regardless of the threat of rocking and rolling. I still think it's probably for me heaven on earth. And unfortunately, I miss all you people back here, back there, yonder, and all my family. But I'm gonna see y'all through Zoom. We're gonna make it. We're gonna make it happen. Thank you. Technology.
Okay, thank you. Leah, and then Lori R. Let's see, Leah, we're not hearing you yet. Let me figure out. Hang on. I'm trying to find you here.
There I am.
Okay, now we can hear you.
Yeah, it's the laptop has decided it no longer has a microphone. So I have to go through the phone to talk. And I did figure out how to mute the volume, so that's why you're not hearing echoes anymore. I did figure that out.
Okay.
I'm grateful for many things. The universe, there's something else. They're tricksters. Um, yeah, to get them to pay attention to what I was feeling. I'm grateful for having my heart have an AFib again without me knowing, of course, as usual. It wasn't until I was in the ambulance and she plugged it in. And so my heart rate was 140, but then going down and what have you. So it's like, oh, okay. But to me, grateful for it because it made them in the ER really listen to what was going on. They didn't settle for the CAT scans normal, the blood work normal, the oxygen level was normal because they couldn't figure out what else was going on. So they still really haven't, but it made them search more for that because sitting there while Phyllis was visiting me on Thursday night, all of a sudden my heart at supper time, I got real dizzy, and a nurse comes in and says, "Oh, your heart, it's reversing itself." So it went back to normal, just like that. But by that time, the doctors, had all day to try to figure this and this and this out. So what they have decided is a little bit where I can breathe a little bit easier, but it has not solved the problem, but it made them relook at everything more deeply. So I'm so grateful for the universe doing its own thing and what have you. So, and grateful for the people that have, sent me prayers and what have you. I'm grateful that Phyllis has visited me a couple times in the hospital. I appreciate that. Um, she does so much. I'm just grateful that I actually can for Maria to be able to come and get it to where I no longer have a black screen on the. Otherwise, I wouldn't see you, you wouldn't see me, and there was no way I would have had this up. So I'm grateful for that, and just other things. Um, Still a little irritated about the computer deciding it no longer wants to have a microphone on it, but that's okay. It's only times like this that I use it anyway. So, but I'm just really grateful. Grateful for the rain we've been having. Grateful, not so much about the 90 degrees, but I'll take it. And I'm grateful for just things like that. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Lori R., and then we'll come to Siobhan.
I'm thankful for a new connection this week. I was able to attend a class and I met a wonderful woman from Australia. And she was teaching on fear and had a little workbook. And when I saw the pages in the workbook, when she sent it to me, I could have written the whole thing out. It was my heart on paper. She has given me permission to use her materials for me to teach here in the States. So I am so very thankful for that connection and for that open door.
Yay. Thank you. Siobhan, and then we'll come to Lori K.
Well, I am so thankful to be here on this Sunday, and be with you all, and happy to hear that those that have been dealing with some health ailments are turning around and recovering in such a beautiful way. My heart and prayer have been with you all. I am thankful for the shift. I feel like there's such a shift going on. We've had a lot of storms here, and it felt like a cleansing, is what I've been gathering. It was very rough and a little abrasive, but the end of it was just so peaceful. And it felt like we all needed to just sit down for a moment. So I'm thankful for that time to just be. Um, and to know that with every storm, the sun will come back out. literally, physically, all of the things. So, lot to be grateful for right now. Thank you.
Thank you, Siobhan. Okay, Lori Kay, and then we'll come to Sylvie.
I'm tremendously grateful for friends, for love, for compassion, and for healing, and for the great light that is what we are. Very grateful.
Yay. Sylvie, and then Deborah.
Okay. I'm grateful I was able to spend some time with my family on a fishing trip Friday. I'm grateful that I had a chance to look in on an old friend that I hadn't seen for a while, and grateful for my health, a roof over my head, and that I have people who love me.
Yay. Okay, Deborah, and then Amanda.
Yes, and I'm still not sure how to get my picture in the gallery there. But I think I have the
Yeah,
video
we can
on.
see you. We can
Oh,
see you.
okay. I can't see me. Okay. Brian, I just want to offer a great gratitude to you and your message today. It was right on target for what I was needing to hear. And certainly I'm not exempt from dealing with um, some difficulties also in my life at this point. And so it's just a delight to, first of all, have had Lori push me a little bit to make it here. Um, and I think every single one of you I can just feel the presence of this group, and it's very welcome to me. And thank you so much.
Yay, we're glad that you're here with us.
Yes.
Okay, so Amanda.
Hey, I'm grateful this week for another opportunity to serve community, for increased business opportunities, for time to be able to be spent with my youngest son, working alongside him and enjoying that relationship and that time together, for successful first week of school for him this year, his sophomore year, for finishing a beautiful story quilt I had been working on for a friend's grandbaby and being proud of what I made, and for fellowship and for love. Thank you.
Yay, thank you, Amanda. Okay, Ann and Janet, or at least one of the two of you, I presume.
Hi, Brian. Yeah, it's just Anne. Um, I'm very grateful for the weather today after all the storms and everything. Was able to get out and go for a drive today, and that was nice.
Yay. Okay, thank you. Coming to this room, Paul.
I'm thankful for the fact that I got a chainsaw even though it doesn't work.
Okay. Mary.
Thankful for a pleasant, easygoing day.
Yay. Well, first of all, I'm so grateful for Phyllis. She was a rock when I was a tattered sheet in the wind. I'm grateful that each day I see a incremental improvement in my physical health, and I'm grateful that we have this place and that somehow or other there's been enough money coming in personally so we could keep the bills paid even though I couldn't work. And parenthetically, several of you made donations this week. Thank you so much to the church, because Phyllis hasn't had time to do the normal tallying or keeping up. She's got the money in the account. She's sent the checks out. God bless her for that. It's not in her remit, but she's taken it on because we didn't have anyone else to do it. And I'm grateful to be here, and I'm grateful to be with you. Yay. Okay, prosperity. So I'm going to read a prayer sent to us by a friend named Violet from a website by Tasha Silver, whom I do not know. Sort of put this in your prayer stack and hold it and absorb that which is appropriate. Divine Beloved, allow me to give with complete ease and abundance, knowing you are the unlimited source of all. Let me be an easy, open conduit for your prosperity. Let me trust that all of my own needs are always met in amazing ways, and it's safe to give freely as my heart guides. And equally, please let me feel wildly open to receiving. I'm going to say that twice because this is so important. Please let me feel wildly open to receiving. I'm going to say to receiving good. May I know my own value, beauty, and worthiness without question. Let me allow others the supreme pleasure of giving to me. May I feel worthy to receive in every possible way. Change me into one who can fully love, fully forgive, and fully accept myself so that I may carry your light to others without restriction. Let everything that needs to go, go. Let everything that needs to come, come. I am utterly your own. You are me, I am you. We are one, and all is well. And can I have an amen and so be it to that? Okay, so now let's see what the universe has to say to each of us. We'll start with a prayer of protection. If you happen to know it, great, say it along. If you don't know it, hum along or just listen and agree with it. The light of God surrounds us, the love of God enfolds us, the power of God protects us, the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well, and we are grateful, and so it is. I think you can find this on the Unity website, but we do have little cards, and we'll be glad to send them to you or send you an email with all. Oh, someone's already put it up. God bless you. But if you want little cards, we have plenty. We're glad to mail to you. Okay, let's see what messages we have for everyone. Amanda, I see sparkles from your hands. I don't know if you are an energy healer or whether this means that you bring good to others in other ways with your hands, but it is an acknowledgement of this particular creative and I'm going to say soothing and healing power that within you. Christy, be open to a new door, that doesn't make sense. Be looking for a new door opening. And the image is a barn with one of your brilliant images painted on it. And I see the barn door open. And this cool, well-lit interior is inviting you in. Shaman. The words that come instantly are no, no, it doesn't have to be this way. So I'm going to assume there's something you're facing or dealing with, or someone is trying to convince you to accept that is not good, not in your best interest, or is filled with lower frequency energy. So whatever it is, no, no, it doesn't have to be that way, is the message. And if you're not sure what we're talking about, neither am I, but I'll be glad, just give a call and we'll noodle it together. Ellie, take a mental picture or a spiritual picture, I don't know the exact words, of the clear air, the cool breeze, the smell of rain on the wind, so that you can plant it all around your house. And to give some sort of an explanation here. Back when I was married to Carolyn, she had 2 kids. One of them was a toddler, two and a half. We were out picnicking in a busy park, and she was toddling down a trail, fell down, and suddenly began crying. And I rushed to pick her up and realized she'd fallen on a pit of ashes that someone had dumped in the middle of the trail, and her hands were badly burnt. We left everything right there. We rushed to the car, got her to the hospital. 2 hours later, I went back to pick up what we left in the picnic ground. That included a couple of valuable cameras I had there. On the way out, I had placed a lock on everything there. When I got back, not a single thing was missing. That's the sort of lock I'm talking about to you, Ellie. Okay, Anne. I'm not sure what this has to do with, Anne, but it shows you outdoors in a cool evening, looking at the moon and reciting. I'm not sure if it's a prayer or a psalm. I'm not sure which, but find the opportunity to spend meditation time in moonlight, I think is the way to boil it down.
Okay, good. That sounds good.
Okay.
Janet's in the next room.
Okay.
Do you have
Let me
one
see
for
what I
her?
have to say for her. Let me see what I have to say for her.
Okay.
Very interesting. Back when they had study notebooks or blue books where you took tests, and Janet, it shows you with something like that, and it's saying every morning, find a prayer or find a psalm, handwrite it into your book. It doesn't have to be a book, it could be pieces of paper, but every day write a prayer down or write a psalm down.
Prayer or psalm. Okay,
Yeah.
good.
Now, technically, that's called creating an engram. It's something we do in Lift on Healing, Lift on Therapy. It is anchoring into your subconscious that piece of information.
Okay, and I'm sorry, it was creating what?
Engram, E-N-G-R-A-M. It is in Lift on Therapy, when we find a lie that someone is carrying in their subconscious, we have them, we use a process to get rid of the lie and install the truth in the software. And then we have them write it down because that glues this new truth into your operating software.
Okay.
And for whatever, she needs to be writing down these prayers, psalms, da-da-da-da. Okay, Leah. To the extent you're able, in the cool of the day, go down, sit in a chair or a swing or on the porch for 4 or 5 minutes at least, and just breathe the clean air. Lori R., you're moving to new responsibilities on the spiritual side. Enjoy the walk. Actually, it's saying it 3 times. Enjoy the walk. Enjoy the walk. Enjoy the walk. And I suspect you're going to find more doors opening to you and continue to do your loving work. Lori K. It shows you pounding your fist against the door that won't open, and I realize that right beside you is an open door. So be looking for that open door, a little off where you think you're going, or something to that effect. Okay. Sylvie. Have I done you, Sylvie? Okay, because they keep moving the images around. There's some extra blessing or a bright spot in your life that you're sort of overlooking. Let yourself be more aware of a place where you feel extra blessed or you're getting extra joy. The image that comes is of having extra time with a beloved grandchild. But I think that's metaphoric. That's not necessarily the literal truth. Okay, and Deborah. First comes the line from a song, "Be not afraid, whatever betide, God will take care of you." But then comes the words, "Don't walk away from any help that's offered you. You are worthy to receive God's best." And then Sister Pepper comes along, reminding me of an old joke she used to tell, which seems appropriate. She told about a little old lady. She'd been living in the same place with her husband, and he'd long passed. And across from the street, she was a very religious old lady, we assume a conservative. And across the street from her, all this time had been a bar. And she knew a bar was evil, and she kept asking God to get rid of this bar from her sight. And nothing happened. And one day, an old college chum was passing through town and suggested they get together, and the little old lady invited her to come visit. And they had a wonderful dinner, and the lady was going to stay over. And the little old lady said, "Well, I'm about to go into prayer." And she talked about how she kept praying for the bar to be removed from her sight. And she did that every night. And her friend said, "Okay, I'll pray with you." So the two of them did their prayers, went to bed. The next morning, the little old lady gets up, walks by a window, and notices that the bar is burnt to the ground. And now she's jealous. And when her friend gets up, she says, "What is it you've got with God? I've been praying all these years, and nothing happens. You pray once, and the bar is burnt to the ground." And her friend smiles, reaches into her robe, pulls out a packet of matches, and said, "Well, I added matches to my prayer." So, in whatever you are facing, don't hesitate to add matches to your prayer. Okay, coming on to this room, Paul. An old Ben Franklin saying comes, "Take good care of the pennies and the pounds will take care of themselves." Or modernized, "Take care of the pennies and the dollars will take care of themselves." Let's see, is Mary here? Yeah, Mary's here. I see you reaching into a pocket and you find something unexpected there. You pull it out, you open it up, and sparkles fly out. I think you're going to find some unexpected good coming your way, Mary, or appearing in front of you where you least expected it. And welcome it, enjoy it, put whatever this is to good use. Okay. Da, 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 da. Oh, Lori Kay, yes.
The message for you, Brian, is you have been cleansed. And don't be surprised at all of the light and all of the different ways that it's going to come through you that you may not have experienced before.
Thank you. Thank you. Oh, one other gratitude I should have thought of. I don't even remember if I did. Yeah, I did a gratitude. I trade off with another one of my lift-on therapists, and we uncovered this week damages I didn't know had happened from my father's rage, to the point that I have been carrying my whole life, I realized the belief, if I'm really successful at anything, if anyone notices me, my father might kill me. And with her help, we got rid of that belief. And then later that evening, Phyllis helped me take that image of trauma when he almost did and remove it. And I'm so grateful to her and so grateful that this came out. Yay. Okay, so time for benediction.
Lori put her hand up.
Oh, Lori? Okay, go ahead, Lori.
I pulled a card for you. It's entitled Wish Fulfillment. Let this be your confirmation that your wish will be fulfilled. The universe is orchestrating the perfect circumstances for its arrival.
Yay. Lori, would you be willing to do our benediction as we close?
You're on mute, baby.
Sorry, I put it back on. I'd be happy to.
Okay.
Father, thank you for all your many blessings, and I thank you so much for this church family and how we each can uplift each other and learn from one another. I ask that you be with everyone here this week, that you would meet their every need, that you would supply the wisdom for any decisions that need to be made this week. I pray for everybody's health, that you would touch them, and that the light of God and the love that you share for us would just surround them in a bubble. Allow them to find light and be able to shine energy into their own place that needs healing. Father, just take everybody and bless them this week. Thank you for all that you're doing and all that you're going to do. In Jesus' precious name, amen.
Amen. God love you all. We love you all. Take good care of yourselves. Know that if there's a way that Phyllis and I can be of support, give us a call, text us. We're here to do our best for you. And meantime, take good care of yourselves to the extent you can. Take good care of others. Keep yourself safe from the predators and from low energy. And with love and hope, we'll see you all next week. Bye-bye for now.